Hello, everyone. Let's get a close up. So I'm growing my Christmas beard, and I think it's going to go like this. Anyway, I want to talk about the Sony A7CR. Now, I love the batteries that comes with this Z batteries, but two of them aren't charging all the way. Like one's 99%, and the other one, like this one, is 97%. So it'll charge it all the way. I tried slow charging, fast charging, and stuff like that. And I think that it tells you that when the battery starts not fully charging, it'll give you the percentage. And I've noticed that the battery life is really a lot shorter than batteries that can get 100%. But anyway, I love this camera for street photography. Small, tiny, and I like tiny lenses with it. And let's go over here to over here. Okay. So you can see this a lot better. Hopefully. There we go. All right. Small and tiny. Now I'm going to show you on the top 4 lenses. I got many lenses, but these are my 4 favorite. So it's the 20mm f1.8, the 28mm f2, and this I think is that's a Sony. I have the 85mm f1.8, and then my favorite is the 55mm Zeiss f1.8. These 4 lenses I usually take with this camera. So the 28 and the 55 I usually take for portraits and stuff, the 85, and then wide field of view, the 20. These 4 lenses is what I like the best for this camera system. So let's look at some photos that I will be showing you. If I click over here, the first one is a raw file. Okay. In fact, 1, 2, 3, the first 4, 5, they're all raw files, and then you'll start, or 6 are all raw files, and then you'll start seeing raw compared to JPEG, or HEIF, I should say. So looking at the detail, and that's a good shot. Raw files look fantastic. Okay. Looking at my dog now. Depending on what mode the camera was in, sometimes the shutter speed wasn't fast enough, whatever. But let's go to the TV. Now, this is a raw file. And let's increase it. He's talking about the A7 V. So if we go to the next one, this is a JPEG or HEIF file. Okay. It's not as sharp or clear as the raw previous to it. And I have to do this again also. But look at the face, look at the DJI, Mike. Let's just use the DJI because it's centered. Okay. Look at the his sweater. I may see a little fringing right here. If we go to the next one, and look at how sharp it is right here, just with the JPEG. But we're going to go to DJI. All right. So you don't see much of the color like you do on the raw files. So this is processed. You don't see any fringing and stuff. Is it sharp enough? Well, let's find out. It's a little too close right here. You don't want a little smudging. But Look at this lamp and look at the shadow. So this is what I want to talk about. Do you really need raw unless you're going to edit it, or is Hive good enough? And if we go here to the raw, look at that. Excellent. So I just wanted to point that out. Here's a couple more examples. So this is on the TV, raw, and then this is the fine. So the raw, you see a little bit more color depth or whatever, but in the Hive, it's more process, and I guess the best way I can say it is look at the person, and he's showing how the autofocus works. And if we go here to the raw file, see, you see more color. See, subdued, more color. And the same thing here, raw, JPEG. So which one do you like better? The raw or the Hive JPEG? See, it's quite different. And two more. So here's the raw, and there's the JPEG. So more rich in colors in the raw, less in the JPEG. Now I changed everything to Hive. Now I tried the 35 millimeter, 40 millimeter on these, and it just was not cutting it. It at 2.5, 2.8, it just wasn't sharp enough. I thought that was a great shot. So let's see. You may think that's sharp, and it's blurry right there because of the lens I was using. So you do get a little bokeh, but look at that. So this is blurred out. You see maybe some fingerprints right there, or where the cat was on. He's been venturing out because he knows the dog is outside, so he's just inspecting everything. He used to love to sleep in this room with Wanda. And then I'm ready to bring Lucky back in, the dog, and he just climbs up and climbs over the fence. So he can get in and out. Lucky won't climb the fence. He'll more likely bite on it and carry it away. But this cat is smart. He's 10 years old. But look how sharp that is. And this is a 61 megapixel camera. And if I do this and go over here, yeah, this is the 40 millimeter. All right. And if I go down a little bit more, a little bit further back, and it's dark right there, but you can lighten it up. Just wanted to show. And these are the last few pictures. So he was a bad boy. He's pouting a little bit. Now, I won't need these anymore. So I'll go like that, close window. This is the 28 millimeter f2 Sony lens. I love this lens. Small, compact. And if you take it outside, you can see the difference, how wide a field of view you get. But if you crop in, like I usually do with the 60 megapixel or 45 megapixel camera, it's still sharp. And I did a surround with the 28 millimeter. It's running outside again. Plants are starting to die. The leaves are starting to fall. But look how close you can get. And I think this is still a 28 millimeter. Yeah. You see, this is all at f2. I had it on auto. I had it in program mode. You see, this is a great lens. You can even see the splashes of coffee on here. On top of the microwave. Copper sailboat. Painting. Look how sharp this is. Look at that. He's just sharp. 28 millimeters, you get a wider field of view. That's why a lot of people like Leica. I got the Leica Q3, and I think I get pretty darn good pictures just using the 28 millimeter f2 compared to the 1.7 for the Leica. It's not much difference. And I should say the Q3, Leica Q3. And you get close-ups. But sometimes when you get too close, you get that. And then the same thing here with different lighting. But look how sharp that is. And this is a 28 millimeter. Right here also. Different parts of the house. The dog is looking at the cat. And sometimes, you know, when you're in darker areas, it's harder to focus. You can see the dust. My heater came on today. If it goes below 68, the heat comes on. And, but, you know, with that 28 millimeter, I was very happy with it. And it's a Sony compact lens. And of course, he was moving his head. And got a close up of the stereo in the office. Flowers, signs. Now I think, yeah. So you see, look at the color. And I think this is where I went to the Zeiss. Okay. These last two pictures. Yeah. Just want to make sure. Yeah, that I used a 20 millimeter on here. That's why they're so wide. Okay, so these are 20 millimeter. All right. and that's at an f1.8. So this is the 55. And I tried different things, different camera modes. But look how sharp this lens is. And it has bokeh at 1.8. See, it's kind of blurry back there, but look how sharp Jennifer is. I tried it this way in different camera mode, and of course the last one, which is my favorite picture. And this was in manual exposure. I'm going to go to view, hide sidebar, and there you go. These are kind of like 8K photos. So my monitor is a 5K, but you can see a little square right there. And I can increase it this way, but look how sharp she is. It's starting to blur right here. Now it's focused more into this area right here. And I can probably do that. That's a good ending shot right there. Make this full screen. There you go. And let me do this real quick. Come back over here. Yeah. So what do you think? Camera's good. You just have to get some good quality lenses with it. These are the cheaper lenses, you know, used and stuff. This is what I first started out with the full frame lenses for Sony. I had the A7R5. I had the A9 right now. I have the A7CR. I did have the A7C2s, but they were overheating too much. A7CR with the silver or metal top, less overheating, so that's why I kept that camera. The rest are APS-C cameras. So usually it's just the A6700. I do have an extra ZV-10 for a backup. And I'm trying to get to full frame batteries on APS-C cameras, okay? And this is just the Sony one that I own. But out of these four lenses, like I said, these are my favorite, you know, for full frame. I do have long lenses, all right, like the 60 to 600 for telephoto. I got other lenses, but these four are my favorite. The 20 millimeter Sony, the Zeiss 55 millimeter, the Sony 85 millimeter, and then of course the Sony 28 millimeter. These four lenses I always have with me with this camera. Now I do have the 24, the 40, and 50. So the 24 is a 2.8, and the 50 and the 40 are 2.5. So I have those. And I do have a 35 millimeter f2.8, but it's not as sharp as this 28 millimeter right here. So that's why I stuck with these two right here. And I have these. So when I go to street photography, these are lenses I have. So for like models and stuff, the 85 millimeter is good. For wide field of view, landscape, 20 millimeter, or even for night shooting, you know, at the stars, the moon and stuff, the 20 millimeter. But these are the two lenses I have on here all the time. The 55 millimeter and the 28 millimeter. Wide field, a closer up. So Thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.